and Farmer Larry at Fern Valley Farm, and we're so glad you're here this morning for our wonderful YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about gnocchi, a wonderful Italian potato pasta, and it's just so easy to make. So let me show you exactly how it works. So first thing, I need my glasses. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure out 2 cups of flour. This is my go-to flour. I love this one. There's all kinds of flours. Whatever it is, it's an all-purpose flour. 2 cups measured out in a bowl. And then we're going to need to take 2 large russet potatoes. Peel them off, put them in, chop them up and put them in some boiling water, so just like you're making boiled potatoes. And we're going to take those 2 potatoes and we're going to put them in this wonderful contraption called a ricer. Now what the ricer does, it actually pushes the potatoes through these small holes in the bottom, and you can see we've used this one, so that there's no chunks. It's really important that you do this while the potatoes are hot. So we're going to go ahead and put them through. I'm going to show you how we do it. Don't put too many in the beginning because otherwise you're going to get a real workout. So we're going to take our flour and right on top we're going to put these hot potatoes. Push the ricer. Oh, yeah, I need more muscles. Push the ricer and you can see how the potatoes come right out of the ricer with a little bit of muscle work. And so we're going to do all of the potatoes. I'm just going to take a little small handful and put them in and keep ricing. So as we rice, let me tell you what we're going to do next. So there's only 4 ingredients to this. Just like pasta, the only addition to making fresh pasta gnocchi is to add potatoes. So we've got flour, we've got our riced, she struggles just a little bit to do that. We've got our riced potatoes. We're going to use 1 egg, and we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of salt, because what do potatoes like? Salt. And you always use those same ingredients in fresh pasta anyway. So we're going to just keep ricing these potatoes. We're almost finished. Now this is going to make enough for about 5 or 6 people. So don't be afraid to take 2 potatoes, some flour, an egg, and salt, and make a whole meal. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, my last one. All right, so now that we've got the potatoes in, we're going to go ahead, that's right on top of the flour. We're going to take our egg, and as we always do with eggs, especially fresh farm eggs, is we're going to crack it into a separate bowl, not into your bowl here, because what if you get some shells in, or what we cook with kids a lot and they get shells in, or what if you do get an egg that's not exactly perfect. Now, even though the recipe doesn't say to mix up the egg, whenever you're putting egg into a bowl of dry or semi-dry ingredients, you want to mix it up so that you don't have to dig, because it's less work for you. And the one important thing that we have to remember about gnocchi is you want to work it very easily. If you do it too much, it's going to be tough. We're going to take 1/2 teaspoon. I love my new little measuring spoons. We're going to take 1/2 teaspoon of table salt, and we're going to add that right on top. We're going to mix it in. Then we're going to take our hands and just kind of mix that egg in just like you would, kind of just from the bottom to the top. Can you see how I'm doing this? Bottom to the top. You're going to get a little bit gooey. Don't worry about it. That's why we have hands, because we love to do it. You can do it with a spoon if you want to, but I love getting my hands in, because then I can feel the consistency and to make sure it's all mixed in together. So simple. So we had 2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour or AAA flour if you like, but all-purpose works just fine. And then we did 2 potatoes, and we riced them in. And then we added 1 egg and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Kosher salt or sea salt. Don't use iodized salt. It's got a kind of a metallic taste to it, and you don't need that anymore. So it's going to be kind of crumbly. It's going to look like it hasn't been mixed together, because we're used to dough that's a lot more moldable. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of flour and put it on our board. I like to keep a little flour on the side of the board, so I always have something I can use. And I'm just going to dump it right out. Okay. Now try not to let it overflow onto the side, off the edge of your baking area. But we're going to take that out, and you can actually mold this into dough. So even though it looks really crumbly, it can be molded into a circle of dough. So you just kind of work with it very gently. Don't want to get carried away with it, because remember, it is pasta, and pasta isn't something that we want to work an awful lot. So I'm going to form it into just a kind of a mound here. We don't have to let it rest or anything, which is wonderful. And then I'm going to take my knife, and we're going to separate this into many sections. I'm going to take a sharp knife, which is here somewhere. I know it is, and if it isn't, I'll grab one. take a sharp knife real quick, and we're just gonna chop off a piece of this molded gnocchi. And we're going to take this piece, and you can see the potatoes inside. I'm going to set this aside for just a minute because we're going to do the same thing with all of it. You can see there's a few crumbs left, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. So we've got our flour down, and we're going to take our gnocchi, and we're going to form it just like Play-Doh into one of those logs or snakes, as we used to call it when we were a kid. Now, sometimes it's too big to form, so we're going to cut that off a little bit, and we're going to take our hands and just form it into about a 1/2 inch little snake. If it's too hard to roll, sometimes it'll roll, sometimes it won't, depending on how well mixed the flour is. So we're just going to form it into a bowl. I like to kind of just use my hands a little bit. And then after you form it into a roll, you can kind of roll it out a little better, okay? So we've got our log or our snake or whatever you want to call it. And what gnocchi is it's just what they call little pillows of dough that go into hot water, come out as puffs. And it's wonderful. It's just a wonderful taste, and it's so easy to make. Okay, so we've got it into our kind of roll here. And now what we're going to do is take our sharp knife. I like to kind of make that edge a little bit flat. And we're going to just cut it into little pillow-shaped sections, okay? Super easy. You can go fast, you can go slow, whatever you want to. And then what it creates is a whole lot of these. This is all ones that I've already cut, and it makes it really easy, so we'll pile these on with it. This is it actually makes a little bit more than this, so you can see it really feeds a lot of people. Now, one great thing about gnocchi is you can actually freeze it. And so what you can do is take this whole platter, put it on a baking sheet, slide it into the top of your freezer. When they're frozen, take them all out, put them into a Ziploc bag, so they're going to freeze individually. Make sure you label it. That's really important. You might want to put the date too. And then you're going to drop them in after they've frozen individually. And then whenever you need it, pull it out. So what we're going to do next in order to finish this and cook this is we're going to take some of this, we're going to drop it into salted boiling water. So we've got boiling water over here, and we're going to just drop it in. We're going to let it cook for about 3 minutes. And then when it floats to the top, we're going to give it about 20 seconds, and then we're going to scoop it out. Scoop it out. So here is the end result of the yummy end result that we're going to show you right here. So here is some of it. My hands are kind of sticky. That we've already cooked. We're going to add a little bit of butter to the top. Oh my gosh. A pinch of salt way up in the air like we always use it. We're going to do some Italian herbs because, gosh, it's Italian after all. And then we're going to eat it. And I can't wait. So, absolutely wonderful. Oh my gosh, let's taste it. Oh my gosh, I could eat that whole thing. So, go home, try this. This is wonderful in a homemade chicken soup as a dumpling or any kind of dumpling kind of thing. Stay tuned. Let me finish. Stay tuned for more cooking, and make sure you subscribe below to our channel so you can learn all about these great techniques. What we do is always easy, healthy, and wonderful for you. Our Fern Valley Farm adventures. So, one little quote I want to leave you with. Life's too short to be ordinary. So make sure you get out there and make something wonderful for your family. See ya.